Welcome back, Weebs and Gamers. This is AG here, back with another deck profile. This time I'm going to be doing it on my SAO 10th anniversary deck. This is a deck I've owned for a very long time, pretty much since it came out. But it got restricted, and then I kind of just stopped playing it for a while. But I absolutely love the set because of the art. I have the whole thing just collected for pretty much just the art, and then I also have a deck for it, of course. But yeah, now that the new ban list came out, the Asuna runner is now unrestricted. So you're allowed to play that in addition to one of the other two cards, either the Heathcliff or the Kirito level 0 pants support. I went with the Heathcliff. That is just my preference. The Kirito is definitely a very good card. If you wanted to play that, you can. Just my preference for this deck. I just prefer the Heathcliff. I feel it fits SAO's gimmick more of like the no death kind of thing, so it doesn't allow anyone to encore. And yeah, I just really like that aspect of it. So we'll get right into it here. So first thing is, of course, the aforementioned level 0 Asuna runner. So this card is just come and play, top check. And if it's an anniversary character, you can put it underneath. It gains 2k power, so it goes to 3500, and then it is a center runner. So, yeah, very, very good card. The top check doesn't really matter too much for anything particularly. Like, you don't have any level 3s and stuff that, like, need the top check to do an effect kind of thing. It's more or less just, like, a good bonus effect kind of thing, while also being a 3500 runner, so... yeah, definitely very good card. And you should definitely play 4 copies of that. Next is 3 copies of the Kirito level 0. So this is just a come and play, gets 15 for turn, and then so he goes to 3k, and then he's just on death when sent to waiting room. You can ditch one, look at the top 4 cards in your deck, and take any anniversary added to your hand. So that's very good that it's not like level 1 or higher, so you can just get zeros with it. I think usually that's what they tend to do. If it's like level 1 or higher, it's like lower rarity, but this is a double R one, so it's pretty much full power, I guess. Next, we have 3 copies of the Yuki Brainstorm. So I love the art for this card, so good. And yeah, it's just a pretty standard Brainstorm, really. Just beginning of attack phase, give someone 500, and then Brainstorm, normal stuff. Can't really go wrong with that. Next, we have 2 copies of this Shinon and Leafa card. So this card's pretty cool. Definitely one of my... It's not a broken card by any means, but it's definitely one of my favorite cards in this deck. Which is... so it's just... when anyone uses a startup, you can give someone 1k. So it basically turns all your counters into 1k more counters. And then it also has the effect of you can rest it and give someone the clock kick effect. So like if you reverse them, you can heal them by 1 and then send their character to clock. So both of the effects kind of like go in hand very well because it has its own startup effect. So essentially you could just rest it, give someone that ability, and then also give someone 1k at the same time, right? So yeah, and it just goes really well with because you have a lot of level 0s that are like high attack power, so you can basically just run over whatever, and you even get any sort of on death effects they have, like the newer on death Rickies that a lot of sets have now. Just gets rid of all of those, So very good card. Also is green, so helps color fix for the money counter later on. Next, we have 2 copies of the this Asuna. Is basically just a drop surge. Not really too much to say about this one, but yeah, it's just consistency card. You got to play some amount of those. Next, we have 2 of this Kirito. So this is a Climax swapper. So normally, you might only play like 1 copy of a Climax swapper. I feel that's what most people play. But this card is also just when it comes into play, if you have 2 or more characters, draw 1, ditch 1. So it's also just like a hand filter card. So I just like playing 2, just so I, make sure that I get my stuff off. And then finally is 2 copies of the Heathcliff, which I can, you can now play pretty much. Or I guess technically, if you were playing this already, then you'd be playing the Asuna now, but whatever. It's the same thing. You can play both now, so. But yeah, so he's just, start up, he just pay 1, send himself to memory, and then as long as he's in memory, no one can encore anything, and you also get to look at top 4 and choose an anniversary, add it to your hand. So, yeah, definitely very good card. And it's just my preferred pick. You know, the Kirito back row is fine too, but I just prefer him. Moving on to level 1s. So we have the 4 copies of the Kirito level 1 combo. So this card is, in my opinion, this card's broken. It is basically it's just like normal kind of mill salvage combo realistically, but it just has like those slightly extra beneficial effects for like no reason kind of thing. For instance, so this card you can essentially mill up to 3. So like a lot of these other sets that have this kind of combo, it's like straight up mandatory mill 2. So even if you like didn't want to use the effect for some reason, you have to still use it. Which can sometimes screw you if you're like in a small deck state and you don't want to really use the effect kind of thing. But this card is optional mill up to 3. So, and then it depends on what you mill. So, you know, obviously if you mill, so you can mill 0 and always get a 0 back, essentially, which is why it's pretty broken. Or you can mill 1 and, you know, if you hit, you can get a 1, or mill 2, get a 2, 3, kind of so on and so on. So, yeah. But just the fact that it's, like, optional and you can just mill 0 and get a 0 back is pretty cool. And it's just on attack, too, so no need to reverse or anything. So, yeah, this card's insane. Definitely the best combo in Sao 10th, in my opinion. It goes with pants, too. Next, we have this Yui card. So this card is kind of just like a supplementary beater card. It's just during your turn, it gets 4k power, I believe it's a condition. And then you can, it's also just a level swap. So you can, if you need, because this deck does play experience, you need at least experience 6 by the time you get to level 3. So yeah, you can just, you know, if you're screwed for some reason, you can always just level swap if you need to. Next, we have 2 copies of this counter. This is just like a old school Leafa counter, but it's a level 1 now. They've been printing these for a while. I definitely really like them, and it goes really well with the green back row because essentially, if you have that in play with this, it becomes a 3k Leafa counter at level 1, which is pretty cool. So yeah, definitely really like this card, and it's this card and the money counter are like your 2 defensive cards, basically. And then last but not least, 1 copy of this Asuna Kirito card. So this is just, I really like this card. I'm sure, you know, you could easily get by with not playing this card, but I just like it as a tech 1 of, which is just come and play, pay 1, ditch 1, and you can bounce any character your opponent controls. So if there's just like really annoying like -2 soul character or some back row or whatever you want to just get rid of, you can just get rid of it. So I like that card. And it's also my sleeves as well, so I feel like I kind of have to play at least 1 copy if it's my sleeves kind of thing. Next we have level 2, which is, this is the only level 2 character I play, just 1 copy of this Asuna back row. So she's just 2k to level 3s in front. And then if you have experience 5, you can rest her and give someone extra 1k, and they cannot play events in that from that card's attack, I believe. I think they can still play backups. I forget. I'll have to double check, but it's yeah. So definitely a good card. It's pretty much one of the only good back rows you can play. Next we have 4 copies of the level 3. So this is I love the art on this card for sure. It's like the classic Sao art, pretty much. And yeah, this card is like, it's like crazy on paper, but in testing I find it actually is like more balanced because it's completely luck based. It depends what you mill, that, you know, depends. It makes it better or worse, essentially. So this card is just on play heal, and you have to have experience 6. And it just gets 1500 power always as well. So it's always just 11k essentially. But its climax combo is on attack, pay 2, ditch 1, and then mill 5, and for every climax you mill, burn 2. So essentially, you could get a crazy mill like three climaxes and burn them for 2-3 times, or you could just mill nothing, and then you just kind of pay 2 ditch 1 for no reason. So, it is what it is, but I definitely really like it because it's just very high roll, very fun kind of effect, and yeah. Oh, and it goes with choice, so pretty consistent climax ratios there. Next, we have 4 copies of the Kirito Yu-Gi-Oh card. So this card is just your main early play. So if you just have 4 more anniversaries in play, you can early play them. So super easy to play. And then if you have experience 6, he gains the effect of on attack, you can give someone 1500, and then he also has just discard and heal to stock. So yeah, so this card is really good. It just helps you buff and pump over things, and it's just a really consistent, easy level 3 at early play level 3. And you do have to play like max copies of pretty much most of these because you need experience 6. So you're gonna have to put like some amount of level 3s in your level zone most likely. So next we have the kind of other early play, which is this Asuna. You only play 2 because it's kind of not as good. You just need more level 3s in this deck, pretty much just for experience requirement. So yeah, this card is just, if you have 2 or less climax, you can early play, and then she gains 15 again, and she's just scry X equal to your field. So if you play her as your 5th character, you just look at 5, choose whatever card you want. So yeah, decent card, but it's just there for experience most of the time. Then we have 1 copy of this level 3. So this is kind of like a alternate finisher card because it does not require a climax, which is nice. And it's also a card that I really love, which is the level 3s that just have come and play search. So I really like that effect. Whenever I can play that in a series, I always try to. And then this card also has on attack, you can pay 3, ditch 1, and mill the bottom 4 cards of your opponent's deck, and then for every climax you can burn them for X amount, whatever. So yeah, so pretty good effect, and mostly it's there for kind of the search effect, but of course the burn effect is there if you need it. And the last card is just this Kirito. I love the art on this card. It's just like Kirito with like a dumbass face on. He's annoyed or some shit, and yeah, he's just the standard stock swap card, and also a power pump. So yeah, you just pretty much got to play at least 1. And then the only 2 events you play are just 2 copies of Money Counter. So you do have like just enough green essentially in this deck to be able to support Money Counter, and I do think it is worth it. You cannot play it if you want, but I do feel that you're already playing at least 3 to 4 copies of Yuki Brainstorm most likely. So I feel like not teching this in is kind of like wasting that green. But and Money Counter is Money Counter. I mean, it's pretty broke, but if you want to not play it, you can. And then we just have of course, the Climaxes, which is the 4 copies of the Pants, and 4 copies of the Choice for the level 3. And that's it, guys. If you enjoyed, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe. And this is EIJI, signing out.